What's up? What's going on, y'all? We're all back again. We're going to finish up SCP Sedition, Tape 2 of God, SCP 343. From Tatstopvideos. Links down below. Go over there, show them love and whatnot. And we're going to get this started, I guess. You know? God. Let's see where this one goes from here.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I want you to keep track of it. Make sure we lose nothing this time.
Oh, it has. Good. Thanks, McCrimmon. No word yet from God. Not that we really expected much. So far, all video footage is accounted for. There's no evidence 343 has taken action to erase anyone or anything as a result of the complications. And 035 appeared back in its cell 4 minutes ago.
What's he saying?
Nothing. It refuses to take a host. Never thought I'd see the day when 035 would shut up.
Could be worse. He could
That's
be
the
fine.
mask, right?
So, you took a swing at God.
Damn straight.
How did you think that would turn out?
I don't know. Black eye, thunderbolt, the usual.
Oh. Well, add that to the resume.
I mean, if it's really God, you shouldn't have been able to connect on him. Would be my thoughts on it. So the fact he did tussle with God a hair almost means it's not actually God.
That's obvious. But I know you. You don't let your emotions take control like this. I need that special something you've got. Can you keep it together?
I don't know what you want from me. One day you're out for blood, my blood, then the next you want to make nice. Need a chance to gloat to the suits upstairs about getting 343 on film? Prove once and for all that he's the real charlatan here? You don't need me for that shit.
I do!
No, man, you don't. You know what's special about me? I actually give a damn about things. I want to help the ones we can. Because the reason they hate us so much isn't always some blind rage or incorruptible bias they've been programmed to believe. It's us. No. It's you. How do I know? Because I've only gotten the same treatment. Oh, I'm not the same. Oh, I want to change. Why don't you prove it, huh? As long as you keep kicking me on the front lines as your personal meat shield to protect your sorry ass, I'll never believe you've changed.
I do want things to change. Don't you?
Personally, I am this close to not caring.
Finish up. We don't know when 343 will...
Today. So is Watch like special too then, or is he in this? Is he just a D class? Is he seems like that is not what he is. So it's like his Watch, because he had an incident with with the mask too. So is Watch some sort of entity or something, or does he have on some like a magic bracelet or some shit?
Oh, am I disturbing you?
Nah, we were finished.
I see.
Thank you for returning 035. What did you do with it?
It'll tell you once it is ready. I must admit, I have more pressing concerns.
Oh yeah? What about?
You, as a matter of fact. I notice you've been taking these for quite some time. When I notified the
Drugs.
Foundation of my arrival, your overseers took them away. What are they?
Lexapro, antidepressant, supposed to reduce depressive and suicidal tendencies, allegedly.
Oh, I see. To manage trauma. And the other?
Zyprexa, antipsychotic, for hallucinations and when you really want to get a good cleaning out downstairs.
That's enough. Are we gonna start this?
No need for hostility, Mr. Jacobs. I was merely showing my concern.
It's shown. Let's do this.
Certainly.
Fucking cure the dude.
Are you, or beings like you, responsible for all SCP-1795 instances?
Directly or otherwise, I am responsible for all things within this realm. But to be clear, I had no part to play in the creation of these chariots.
They seem to indicate an ancient civilization lived in our universe long before we ever did. Must have been a great deal of time, as they were advanced enough to forge organic vessels capable of exploring space. With how they're designed to look like a literal heart, they must have shared some anatomy with us. This begs the question, was this race some kind of precursor to mankind, like a prototype of what we were to become?
No, ultimately incorrect. This specific species was born on a world that has since ceased to exist, succumbing to the ultimate inevitability.
And that is?
Universal collapse.
I'm sorry, are you saying that our universe is in a state of collapse?
Right now?
It has been many times before, and most likely will again. But not
Circle of
currently.
life.
I don't understand. Are we constantly living on the brink of destruction or something?
No. He's saying the universe isn't just a one-off deal, aren't you?
Go on.
Space expands, stretches until it reaches its limit. Eventually the bandwidth snaps, and so the whole thing collapses back into a singularity, like a reverse Big Bang.
And
And then the immense pressure of all forms of matter being compressed in such a tight space would cause an explosion.
restarting the universe. Death and rebirth, generating a new instance with every cycle.
Are you saying that those entities in space, they're from an earlier universe?
But nothing can survive universal annihilation.
Nothing. Unless reality poses no threat.
That would mean that they can break the laws of physics.
Vessels capable of acclimating to the immense pressures of universal collapse, biomechanically bred to become one with the singularity, and strong enough to ride the shock wave of a Big Bang.
That's impossible. Nothing could ever do what you're describing. It goes against every natural law.
Their instinct is to survive. And with that incentive, even the bounds of what's possible are meaningless. A shockwave dispersal, powered by the energies of a reforged cosmos, tasked to propagate new worlds and inseminate them with life forms of the same shape as their creators. They were not the first to achieve such a feat, and perhaps one day you will join them in that honor.
That can't be right. The transmission we received from the ship said their creators had been part of a great war. They were on the brink of extinction.
What greater battle exists than the fight for survival?
You designed it that way.
Watch.
An accurate observation. Death did not always factor into previous versions of creation. But an end to existence has always been part of every design. It ensures those born unto me are as untarnished by consequence as the next cosmic iteration.
That brings up a good point. Are you even capable of having children? Cain and Abel come to mind. They've been in our care for quite some time.
Care is not the particular word I would use to describe.
Whatever they were talking about before, was ridiculous.
Describe the treatment they've endured here, that such suffering is unavoidable for them.
You don't disapprove?
On the contrary, it is they who have brought this fate upon themselves, though I mourn for them. In essence, they are my grandchildren. Cain, the ever-repentant, forever searching for the means to atone for his sin, and Abel, a victim, doomed to stand as a monument to Cain's failure, and the lost potential of his bloodline. The mark of Cain is not only a reminder of his brother's murder, but the symbol itself is tied to Abel's damned soul.
What does it do?
You will need to ask Cain for the answer to that question.
You've spoken in fewer riddles since our last session, so why don't you just answer the question?
It is not my place to do so. Only Cain can judge you worthy of that. Though, as I understand, he has pledged services to your foundation. No doubt as a means to repair the damage he has caused. Would you also deny that his past is already known to your council? There is little wonder why he was so quick to ally himself with you, manipulating his agony to make him your puppet.
You're one to talk.
Isaac. It's not something either of us condone, but he has proven to be a useful ally.
Ally? Prisoner.
What do you expect us to do about it?
Nothing. And I wouldn't have it any other way. The decision is up to your council. And Cain's guilt-riddled conscience.
Can we change the subject, please? We're running a little short on time.
Certainly.
In our wake, a cold peace shall prevail. But those who don't embrace the new way will be consumed by it. Now, we shall spark a new flame.
Okay, I pulled these two files. Hoped you might explain the reason for being. SCP-239.
The Witch Child.
SCP-2845.
I almost don't know enough for these
I see.
discussions necessarily.
Well, to put it simply, their powers, though godlike, are not on par with my own, as you well know.
I don't know about that.
Their abilities are akin to lesser deities, demigods, who wield great might, but are not tied to the fabric of existence like true celestial beings. Take the deer, for example. It is from an ancient time, prior to Earth's formation, a phase of creation where, let's just say, I dabbled in making creatures that served the greater function of enriching nature. The fauna on this world are modeled on their design. My later attempts would resemble what you were to become. But ultimately, that process was flawed.
Hard to believe you, of all people, would make a mistake.
It was meant to be. A lesson I was doomed to learn. Without their instincts being tailored towards maintaining the mega-cosmic.
Well, it's like he does everything. Everything he does is on purpose and intentional. But he doesn't know necessarily like the full ability or the full consequences of creating humans or the fauna talk here. So it's like he did it intentionally, but not knowing exactly what he's going to get out of that creation. but then obviously question him about it, and he gets a little offended, or doesn't want to be. It's God, can't question me.
Balance. Selfish desire dictated their wills. Those alive today only exist to further their powers by pretending to be gods.
But that's not what 2845 is.
No, it has no interest nor concept of narcissism. It exists to live as one with nature, eternally protecting that with which no other life could spawn, even if that life does not appreciate nature's gifts.
So 239 fits into another category.
Is that what you believe?
She doesn't seem to pose a conscious threat, but that depends on how well the lie holds up.
You fear the truth will corrupt her, perhaps. But realization of a lie can turn friend to foe far easier than a hard truth.
She's just a child. These powers are more a curse than anything one would wish for.
Exactly. So why would you allow her to have them?
Allow?
Why have her keep them? She poses a threat to herself and, well, everything we know.
It is an anomaly. I, as with free will, am willing to interfere. Each form of life is tied to my being, and as such acts as a conduit for my power. A sensation that there is always someone watching over you, protecting you. A greater order than what you perceive. Inevitably, this connection to the source will be stronger in some. They will be able to channel fractions of my power. These individuals may go their whole lives unaware of this gift, but others will be inherently masterful in its use.
Masterful? Some of the most harmful things she's done have been because of a single stray thought or careless feeling.
Yes, it is unfortunate.
I mean, that's some.
However,
That can be
your care,
very
I'm
female.
certain she would tame her own mind against such careless mistakes.
Are you kidding me?
No, he's right. We are the best chance she's got.
More such as her will need guidance. It is they who are destined to inherit the world, and should they prove responsibility controlling their powers, a place at my side in the kingdom of heaven.
Does that mean anyone can have these powers?
Yes.
So any of us could just be walking around, the next Jesus Christ, and just not know it?
Would that mean that by definition you'd classify your son as an SCP?
To be categorized as such is irrelevant. Do you believe I call myself SCP for anything but your benefit?
Well, actually, you insist on God.
Then why should I impose such a thing upon my own ilk? Jesus of Nazareth is my descendant, a direct line rather than an invention such as Adam and Eve and the betrayer.
That's supposed to be Lilith.
Do not speak her name. A child or creation or product of either. Anything you might classify as SCP are still life by any standard. Given the rate their numbers increase, it is evident they are as natural to this world as human beings, and therefore should be valued just as equally.
In that case, you got any other familial links? Are you related to, say, 001?
The Gate Guardian, a being without name, only singular in its purpose, an early inhabitant of my kingdom. There was a time when the Guardian was a favorite in the halls of heaven, and a good friend. But they surrendered everything for their station at the gates to Eden.
Everything being...
Their life, so, their identity, everything they were or could have been.
Why would they do that?
As you have said, humanity's belief in me is waning, and the servants of the Lord do not take kindly to such disloyalty.
Disloyalty? Shh.
Eden is no longer the bastion of sanctuary it once was. In fact, it was never properly part of this earth. It is a bridge to my will, and within assembles an army that will one day enact what you call, Armageddon, yes.
So much for the allowance of free will.
Well, it is not my place. My reasoning has already been made clear. They, like humanity, are taking advantage of the gift of
Free will.
precisely. Their presence is the consequence of your sin, one you have all been made aware of, and one I have attempted to lessen through my son. They intend to wipe the slate clean, but the Guardian felt otherwise. Their sacrifice was to ensure unwavering commitment to your post. For your sakes, a chance to reclaim a seat in heaven.
What do you believe?
And neither you nor this army are entitled to either of your desires. But I am unable to change that.
Oh really? We keep picking up a transmission from the future. When the gate finally opens, the date keeps fluctuating. Is that because of you?
That date is entirely up to you.
Since you claim to be a higher entity who can do anything, why don't you try to help us contain apocalypse-level threats?
It is the right of all things to exist. Some may elect the path of
He just lets it all play out for the most part. Lets y'all's free will and his creations all intertwine and see what happens.
destruction, while others only appear evil, carrying out what is simply in their nature. Death is, after all, a natural part of life. Do all humans consider this when slaughtering livestock for their food, or harvesting entire habitats from species who need it the most?
Oh yeah, broadly speaking, you're right. But not everything is native to here. Like you said, quite a few of these SCPs are from earlier universes. You failed to separate from each other. Now they're influencing our world. You saying that doesn't matter anymore, after the big scene you just made?
Their right to life does not end simply because I had designed it to, and at a predetermined point. Exceeding my ambitions is no crime worthy of execution.
Fine. Then what about the things we clearly need help containing, or at least understanding?
Your insights could go a great way to putting us on the right path.
That would depend upon the subject.
We have an anomalous plague doctor on site who claims a plague is ravaging the world. Do you have any idea what he's talking about?
The pestilence.
Is it real?
The idea of the pestilence mirrors the virility of a disease, but your 049 merely interprets its function through only the lens available to him. That is all I will say.
No surprises there. In that case, what about a more direct threat? Something like SCP-2317.
I want to know what the pestilence
It's
is.
a dangerous game to play.
I'll take my chances. You wind up summoning him again? I don't have anything to lose.
Very well. You already know that 2317
Goliath. Now, like the pestilence concept and a lot of things, the mysteriousness of it is actually what makes it so cool. Getting the answers for a lot of things, movie-wise, whatever. The answers is usually not as good as what your mind can ponder on.
Ritual grounds that contain the Goliath. And you are aware of its connection to the Scarlet King?
That's right. We've been trying to study how to keep it contained, and making sure that the last seal stays on it. Could stop a lot of unnecessary suffering if you just made it all go away.
Even someone, something so corrupt is entitled to exist.
Does that mean the creature down there is the Scarlet King? That once the last seal is gone, it's all over for us?
The creature you fear is but one of 7 vessels of the Scarlet King. He is ultimately unable to enter the realm, aside from minor breaches, but these avatars would allow him to fragment his powers across the void into your world.
So why don't you handle it then?
The behemoths are themselves mortal. They have the potential to be slain, and therefore it is the duty of mortals such as yourselves to survive their wrath.
I don't believe this.
So you're saying there's a chance, but only while his powers are fragmented. What happens if they become one?
They won't. He would never risk such a thing happening,
Why not?
because then he would be a deity once more. Such power infiltrating this realm would be an affront to even myself. It is the only circumstance I would resolve to take action.
So only when you're the one who's under threat. What kind of reasoning is that? No, don't tell me. It's to ensure everything gets the same chance at life.
Watch.
Why in the hell would you even want to make some of these things? So far, we have reality benders who can kill us with a simple thought, apocalyptic diseases, entities that could have killed whole cities because it moved in its sleep once, and potentially worse shit you have planned in the future. So the question I put to you is this: why?
You give me too much credit, Isaac. All beings that exist today are not entirely a result of my direct intentions. Those that have strayed from my flock have sought to establish their own anomalies, designed to suit a specific purpose, to experiment, or for no reason at all but to spite me.
But as you've said, you made these deities, and by virtue caused their creations to exist. So why don't you erase their mistakes from the world? It's not like you haven't done it before.
Simple. That is the responsibility of those who created them. It is not for I to decide which life is more worthy to exist over another. Had these false gods alone chosen to pervert my realm with these abominations, I may have done what you suggest. But as we both know, mankind is just as guilty of this sin as any other. You must all face the consequences of your actions, or you will never learn from your mistakes.
I mean, very true. On the individual level, for sure. I don't know about as humanity
I
as a
think we
whole.
should narrow down
but
the subjects to other SCPs, for example. Any of them you feel an affinity for?
We've studied SCP-804 and believe it operates like it has your powers. The device degrades everything and is man-made. Why?
It is an affront to life, and refuses those caught on its path of destruction the will to deny obliteration. It is one of the few junctures within my eternal I have considered revoking free will, to prevent more inventions such as this from seeing the light of day.
Doesn't that potentially frighten you? Is there anything that scares God?
The plaything of an author, dictating the events that we all know, holding our fates in the palm of their hand. Does that not frighten you?
I don't know. They don't call it the God Eater for nothing. Ironically, it was said to have devoured the Abrahamic God.
As you can clearly see, I sit before you wholly unharmed.
Sure, if you buy the whole God thing. Still, wonder how the Druids would have reacted, seeing you waltz in during their ritual ceremony.
May mercy find their tainted souls and guide them back to the light.
If I may, somewhat personally. Does the soul actually exist? What happens when we die?
That depends on the person. Everyone possesses, in essence, the potential for rebirth in one realm or another. But where it goes is determined by the quality of the life led. Do you believe you'll be rewarded at the gates of heaven, Mr. Jacobs? Or would you rather pray for salvation?
How do you feel when humans claim that your will guides them to do great and terrible things?
It does seem like people have an aura to them. I don't know if that's a soul or representative of a soul, but different people do have different auras to them and about them. And some people's auras feel far bigger and more intense than others. But yeah,
I am familiar with being the scapegoat of the deranged, whether through delusions or deceit. I have never encouraged this behavior.
All these murderers, televangelists, and world leaders who command the will of the people take lives on a whim. Doesn't that make you sick?
Infuriating, yes. But if your aim is to ask if I feel them worthy of retribution,
Not just them. We're all guilty of something. You were right about that. Made lots of enemies, both 079 and 682.
682.
Giant, broody reptilian type, indestructible.
I recall he was
I think we're
mentioned to
doing
me
that thing next.
before.
They both claim we're doomed to destroy ourselves if they don't get to us first. Do you believe we're even worthy of being saved?
Why do you ask me this?
Are the actions of the good few really worth the suffering caused by the awful many?
And where do you see yourself fall on that line? Do you consider yourself righteous because of good intentions?
Can't be worse than most.
You are no different than your colleagues. Your moral high ground is paved with the same terrible deeds of a monster. Deep down, you would both sacrifice the lives of others for your own goals, even if they are for the greater good. The people who are tossed into cells as bait, to be experimented on, to study the SCPs you capture. Does that scream ethical to you?
Then why bother designing a species so inherently flawed as us?
I expected better, at least somewhere down the line. But every new attempt to perfect the design winds up spawning worse life. Even now, your inner turmoil makes you wish for those around you to be destroyed, making it easier for you to have things you desire.
You think you're not guilty of this too? Where's your remorse? Aren't you capable of feeling regret?
My feelings add no value to the crimes humanity has perpetrated upon itself. You certainly do not feel guilt over the lives lost at your benefit, the ones you turned a blind eye to, or the one you left behind.
I'm sorry, what did you just say?
We should stop here.
No, you shut the up. What did you just say?
If there is anything for me to regret, it is that I wasted my time allowing things like you the right to breathe. You don't deserve a thing.
Well, why don't you make like a god and smite me
Yeah.
right here?
I
Both
don't
of
think-
you, stay cool.
It doesn't seemingly. I don't know if there's ever any answers like for that, but I think this thing is an imposter. I don't think it's actually
Hoping that I will
God
grant
by
you the coward's way
certain
out,
things
Isaac.
it said.
Perhaps I shall, if I find your life is even worth the taking.
Shut the hell up!
Bravo, Mr. Jacobs. You have found your voice at last. It is you who challenges me.
You're goddamn right it is.
It is unwise to take the Lord's name in vain.
Jacobs, don't bother. He's not worth it.
Quiet, Isaac.
You don't.
I'm your commanding officer, and you are still a soldier. You are my responsibility. Follow my orders.
Who is playing God now?
Oh, don't give me that sycophantic bullshit. I've met plenty of people out in the streets, preaching to the masses, crashing on methamphetamines, who make a more convincing God than you. At least they have the decency to not whip out their superiority complex like a phallus and bust their ego all over the place.
Such a vulgar comparison.
I give as good as I've gotten, and you've been playing this room like we're pawns on some celestial chessboard. We squirm and suffer away while you gloat and brag about your morality upon a mountain of corpses without the slightest sense of irony. Either you are some god-forsaken deity who could never measure up to the stature of any god we worship on Earth, or you're nothing more than the SCP who cried wolf, pretending to be something you're not.
Stop talking to him!
I'm willing to bet it all that you're just another spineless fake like 035. Hiding behind a mask, desperate to make us believe you're worth even a precious moment of our brief existence. Why don't you take that chariot of horse shit you rode in on and f*** off out of our reality?
The strengths of our beliefs make or break the man. Are you willing to die for yours?
Kill me, then.
So be it.
Wait!
I was say, 'cause that's not godlike to intervene from other implications of him, even from other videos and stuff. Like, yeah, he does seem to be an imposter, powerful, obviously, but even on, he's implied that there's like other deities that he would destroy because in a sense they pose a threat to him, or he is then scared of them. Which makes it come across like they'd be on his almost level and not created by him, then just another thing from his realm almost, where he originates from or whatnot. But yeah, I think it's an imposter. This is amazingly well done though, and all that.
Jacobs!
His fate is of no concern anymore. A far greater decision awaits.
Where is he?
Scattered. 1,000,000,000,000 particles across time and space. Stranded on some netherworld. Tumbling through a void between dimensional storms. Does it really matter? Isn't this what you wanted?
Let us put your hypothesis to the test.
You claim that with my powers, you do good for this reality. Make the decisions that I dare not. Cause and effect be damned. This is your opportunity.
I can do anything?
A single act. A choice to have your greatest desire enacted at a moment's thought. But which one will it be? To destroy the Foundation? Free that unfortunate...
Well, because there's other, like if you destroyed the Foundation, aren't there these other little culty things or sex diversions, like, so they would just come in doing what the Foundation was already doing. So if you only get one choice, one action, that's hard because your one thing in so many ways isn't gonna long term change what you're wanting. And you could get like whatever more personal about it, and that's like gets into selfish stuff of, I don't know, bringing back a dead one or something, or a loved one or whatnot. But those are like selfish actions. So it's like, yeah, what would the decision, the choice, the action, what? What would it be? What would yours be?
Go. Rid your body of this curse. Or is it to return Evelyn to your side? The life you...
I would be selfish. I just want to live for forever.
Predict me for.
I can't see.
And the weight of every chain reaction crashes down upon your soul as it does mine. Feel the repercussions of your actions. Doom mankind to suffer without them. Protect us. Spend your life with 053 forever fleeing civilization. Lose the one gift you still possess in this life. Or have your sister witness the monster you have become. I did warn that every choice has its consequences, even my own. And whichever act you make, I promise to never undo. Suddenly, an E-turn doesn't seem like much time at all. Why do you fight against your own instincts? This is the nature of free will. The constant battle between logic and feeling.
But you only gave him the option for one choice, action, wish. Or if you could continue on, then that's a whole different thing, and you could then just the whole make everything great with just one decision.
Wants and needs. Your base desires have already spoken.
I know what you're doing.
Giving you exactly what you wanted. It is you who must decide what you deserve. Give into choice, Isaac. Shape reality as you wish. It's only human. Decide!
I would replace myself with God. Be like, all right, buddy, you're retired. It's my turn. Take your position. That's my final choice. Lock it in. Fucking beat it.
Decide!
That choice is not mine to make. I can live with the consequences of my life, but I won't decide the fate of innocence with this power. Not by your means.
Whose means then?
My own. Jacobs, you're okay. Come on, breathe. Good.
So was that his choice then, was to save the colleague or whatnot?
Keep breathing, lucky bastard.
A wise choice. Your sister is quite proud.
Don't. Just don't. Up you go, on your feet.
Mr. Watchthorn saw fit to return you. Consider yourself lucky to have a guardian angel such as him.
Already do. Be lost without him.
Where did he send you?
Arctic, I think, judging from the stars. But for some reason, this little tracker I happen to have on me says, for a fraction of a second, it pinged my location as being 200,000 miles above orbit. Like there was something there. Bounced my signal back to Earth. You don't have any idea what that would be, do you? Yeah, I thought not.
Easy, numbnuts. You have hypothermia.
Oh, been there, done that. Nice job back there.
Thanks. Can't believe he fell for that.
Neither, really. I suppose I should thank you for saving my life. Thank you, Isaac.
I'd like to believe you would have done the same.
Is that so?
And you? Did you
Yeah,
know
I
I'd
think you
save
would
your
have.
ass after everything you put me through?
Medical or 1 week. 2.
Watch. Glad you could come.
You asked, so... Well, at least you got your tapes. I doubt the council will be happy once they see it.
I doubt anybody will. Tapes are useless. They're going in the trash.
Oh, why? There's a lot of good stuff on there. Details about 343 and
Is
other...
there? Think about it. The things he said, the ways he said it, was all to lead you to make your decision. Either that makes him an excellent manipulator, or... he said it himself. All timelines. Every potential future. All God would need to do is tell us what was necessary in exactly the right way to meet his desired ends.
I guess the question is, are his ends for our benefit, or just his?
We don't need the tapes for that.
Sorry you didn't get your answer. Look, Crow asked to take another stab at 343 in a month. We'll see if we can get anything from him.
343 will just do the same. At least I got something valuable out of all this.
Keep the tapes. We'll still need records, and who knows, maybe there's something on there we can use in the future. Not everyone has home videos of themselves grilling an omniscient with no dark mode support. Too bright in there. But looks good on a resume.
Okay.
Just make sure you cut out some of the incriminating evidence.
There'll be more tape on the cutting room floor. Which reminds me, I'm told I won't be able to carry out my duties in this condition. So, I'm handing that responsibility to you.
The docs say you have brain damage or something?
You're more than qualified to handle the position. Foundation protocol is second nature to you, and on top of that, I trust you to make the proper adjustments to those orders.
Ignoring that I almost got you killed. My bad, by the way.
This isn't repayment for letting me live. I'm the one who has to make ground here, not the other way around. Like I said, together.
Right.
Don't worry, you'll thrive. Feel free to carry out your duties in any order you wish.
Jacobs, you didn't have to.
No. Go on.
Yeah, take your promotion. Watch. Well, all right. I think that kind of wraps up the SCP God interviews. These were awesome. Well done. Very interesting. All this SCP stuff it's a very detailed little universe galaxy. Not little, but and then yeah, it's like all the best parts of every sci-fi thing you could think of all tossed in here, it seems like. And I still don't hardly know anything, but all these different references to some of the SCPs during this one were pretty ridiculous. So, link down below, Tatstopvideos. Go over there and watch their content and show them love. Till next time, y'all take it easy. And we're out of here.